These 12 Russian intelligence officers are charged with hacking into the computer networks of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign and 2 Democratic Party national offices. And according to court documents, the hackers broke into email accounts of campaign volunteers and staff beginning 8 months before the presidential election. They allegedly stole information and later released it publicly using fake identities. Court papers also allege the hackers communicated with members of the Trump campaign about the releases. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein says he informed President Trump earlier this week. He says investigators make no conclusions that the conspiracy was successful or that the Americans knew they were communicating with foreign agents.
There's no allegation in this indictment that any American citizen committed a crime. There's no allegation that the conspiracy changed the vote count or affected any election result.
And before these latest indictments, 20 people and 3 companies had already been charged with Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. That includes 4 former Trump campaign and White House aides, as well as 13 Russians. President Trump and Putin, of course, will be meeting in Finland on Monday, but Rosenstein denies there's any political motivation ahead of this summit. He says the facts actually led investigators to this point. And as for Moscow's alleged meddling in the election, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton said earlier this week that he asked President Putin to stay out of the 2018 midterm congressional elections. He said Putin told him there was no meddling in the 2016 presidential elections by the Russian state. Nonetheless, President Trump telling reporters he will raise the issue with Putin himself.
I know you'll ask, will we be talking about meddling? And I will absolutely bring that up. I don't think you'll have any, gee, I did it, you got me. There won't be a Perry Mason here, I don't think, but you never know what happens, right? But I will absolutely, firmly ask the question.
Perry Mason, of course, referring to a television investigator that many Americans grew up with. Now, reacting to the indictments, a White House spokesperson says, quote, today's charges include no allegations of knowing involvement by anyone on the campaign and no allegations that the alleged hacking affected the election result. This is consistent with what we have been saying all along. Now, the spokesperson had no specific response to allegations that a foreign government intervened in a domestic election. Jessica Stone, CGTN, Washington.